Welcome to each and every person on today. You know what time it is. Welcome to Coach Steele's Finance Training. Of course, I am live on YouTube and Facebook. On YouTube, Coach Steele's Finance Training. You are here live with Coach Steele, and I look forward to working with you on today. And of course, at Coach Steele's Finance Training, we talk about all things financial literacy, and we try to simplify those things so that you can apply them to your life. We talk about all things financial literacy so you can study, so that you can do your research, so you can do due diligence. And so after you do that, you are able to apply, then fly. And so that's what we want you to do so that you can apply this information and then fly in this financial world, this economic system successfully. So welcome to Coach Steele's Finance Training. On today, we're happy to have each and every person tuned in on today. We have a lot to cover, so we are going to get this party started very soon. And today's subject, ladies and gentlemen, is Budgeting Basics 101. We're going to talk about the basics of budgeting. You can never talk about the basics of budgeting and understanding your finances too much. It's always good to have a good review. It's always good to be able to go over this information because your budget, knowing what you have coming in and going out and how to manage it is so important. It is vital. So as you dive into the room on this morning, make sure you greet me. You tell me good morning. Of course, good morning to you, Mr. Tony Sherman, a faithful listener, a consistent listener to Coach Steele's Financial Training. So we're happy to have you in on this morning. We are talking about budgeting basics on today. And so as you tune in on today, some of this may be familiar, some of it may not. If it's not, then make sure you take notes. Make sure you are pulling something from this information. You're grasping something from it so that you can apply and then fly with that information. All right. As you come in the room, make sure that you greet me, say hello. I am live every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. And so as we talk about budgeting basics on today, just to give you all a quick recap of last week, we talked about some things last week. If you want to catch some of those videos, some of that information, then go to the YouTube channel and click on the live tab. When you click on that live tab, it will show you the history of every Saturday morning's conversation that we've had. And that way you can catch up on what's going on and what you may have potentially missed out on. Because a lot of this information and content can put some money in your pocket. So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we are helping out our community here at Coach Steele's Finance Training. And as you tune in on today, I just thank you for being a part of the team. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this party started. Number one, and if you're listening and taking notes and you have a chance, if you're not driving, make sure that you take notes or write in the comment section. One of the basic things, when we talk about just the basics of budgeting, and we'll get a little more complex as we go deeper, but surface level, you want to know your income. That's number one. One of the basics when it comes to budgeting is know your income. That's number one. Let's see if we can put that up in the comment area. So when people come back and listen to it, we can keep track of everything that we have in here. So that's number one. What does it mean to know your income? What does that mean to know your income? It means a lot. A lot of people, you know how much money you make, but sometimes people factor in their gross when they should factor in their net. What is it that you make? What is your take-home pay after taxes? What you normally see hit your account every single month on average, and that's important for some people. What do you normally see hit your account every month? That's knowing your monthly income. So you need to know your income, your monthly income. And you have some people, they work overtime some months, and some people where they work off of commission, off of sales. So that monthly income, it fluctuates, right? It goes up, it goes down. Sometimes it stays the same, depending on commission. If you're a 1099, if you work overtime hours, sometimes they give it to you, sometimes they don't. If you fall into that category, then what do you need to do? You need to look at the past 2 to 3 months. I would do 3. Look at those past few months and then get an average. So if January you made $4,000 and February you made $5,000 and March you made $6,000, then what you want to do is add all 3 of those up, divide it by 3, and then you have your average. So find out what that average net monthly income take-home pay is. So that's number 1, is know your income. It's important. You need to know how much money you're making. If you don't know how much you're making on average every month, then as far as budgeting basics, you are going to be behind the power curve. You're already going to be struggling. Thank you for tuning in on today. My lovely wife, Yvette Steele, thank you. Hello to you. And happy to have you tuning in. I did not pay her to tune in. She just likes listening to me talk. So as you all are tuning in on today, happy to have you tuning in. We are talking about budgeting basics, and I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are when it comes to budgeting, your comments. Feel free, if you are on YouTube, Coach Steele's Finance Training, if you tuned in on YouTube, and or you're on Facebook Live under my name, Simon Steele. Make sure that you comment, interact. I'm interested to see, how are you handling your budget in 2025? Are you taking the necessary steps to have financial success in 2025? Are you pressing towards the mark to reach your goals in this aspect of your life? We have to do it now more than ever. Why do we have to do it now more than ever? Well, just watch the news. And there's not too much that I really have to say. Good morning to you, Mr. Larry Logan. Happy to have you tuning in on today as we talk about Budgeting Basics 101. Just doing some basic things to help you have financial success in 2025. Good morning to Vicky Billingsley. As you tune in today, you all talk to me on today. Are you locked in truly on your budget? Are you truly desiring to reach your financial goals and making sure that you take the necessary steps and being disciplined to reaching those goals consistently month after month? Are we practicing good habits that are going to help you be successful, or are we practicing habits that are going to take us opposite of the way we want to go? Ooh, this is tough conversations to talk about. It's so difficult, but it's good to have that accountability. It's good to have somebody push you in the right direction. And so we know on today, number 1, we need to know our income. And if it fluctuates, we just need to find the average. That's all it is. Take your time, do some math, and find the average. Take the past 2 to 3 months, add it up, divide it by 2 or divide it by 3. Boom, you have your average. That's good enough. It's decent. And if you need to, you don't have to overestimate. You can underestimate a little bit. That way you're consistent. Anything extra over the top is icing on the cake. That's number 1. So you have to go through and list all sources of income: your salary, pension, retirement pay, side gigs, passive income. Some of you may do extra work on the side. Find out the average of all of that, and we know our income, our take-home pay. That's number 1. Let's go to number 2. When it comes to budgeting basics, number 2 is track your expenses. Oh, let's talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. As you tune in on today to Coach Steele's Finance Training, make sure you comment in the comment section. Tell me good morning. If you tune into this later, tell me good afternoon. Why? Because I go back and read the comments. So when we're talking about budgeting basics, number 2, and this is no specific order, we need to track our expenses. But what does it mean to track your expenses? Some of you that are listening in on today, how do you track your expenses? Do you look at your bank statements? In the comment section, how do you track your expenses? Do you write them down? Are you old school, kind of like me? Are you writing this stuff down on a notebook? Are you using an Excel sheet? Do you use Excel sheets to track your expenses? How do you all track your expenses month to month? Are you doing it in your head? Are you estimating? but you don't have an actual number. Because there's a way to get this stuff down to a science, down to a T, to have your expenses on average exact. And so once again, just like you can do the average for your income as number one, tracking your income, when it comes to expenses, to find a good solid number, you can track your expenses for 2 to 3 months. Once again, find out what that average is. Of course, your light bill, electric bill, and grocery bill won't be the same every month. Some months you'll need to rush to the store to buy washing powder, detergent, and tissue, and some months you won't need that. So we need to track our expenses and find what the average is. So how are you all tracking your expenses on today? As you're tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, do you track your expenses on paper? Do you use an app? Or you're just not worried about it? Comment in the comment section. How do you track your expenses? If you don't track your expenses, then maybe you need to start tracking your expenses. Maybe you need to find out how much money you are giving Walmart, Food Lion, Target, Amazon Prime, and everyone else. You need to track those expenses. And so if that's not something you have been doing, well, in 2025, you can start the practice of tracking those expenses. If you're not good at putting them on paper, then find a good quality app that will track them for you if you need to use an app or also an Excel sheet. Now, when it comes to expenses, make sure you take a deep dive. Make sure you take a deep dive when it comes to tracking your expenses to where you make sure you find everything. Even if it's credit cards. Let's say you have a credit card and you use a credit card throughout the month to pay your bill. And then before the end of the month or before that credit card company can charge you interest, before that charge date, you pay that credit card off in full, same as cash. That way you don't get charged any interest, but you enjoy all the reward benefits of that credit card, whether it's cash back, hotel, mileage, you name it. You can look at that credit card statement and find out what expenses went on that card so you can find out on average what you're spending. And it's very important. If you use a credit card, it is very important to look at that credit card statement, whether you look online or whether it comes in the mail. And I'll tell you why. It is so easy to pay for subscriptions or pay for a program or some type of monthly or annual program and put it on the card, and it's still being charged every month like clockwork or annually, and you'll completely forget about it because all you're doing is looking at the credit card bill that is due. And so if you're not tracking how much you spend, you won't realize that you have an expense on there that you're paying every month or annually that you don't even need or use anymore. So it's important that you track those expenses so that you can get rid of things on your monthly budget or expenses that you don't need. So it's important that we track those things. Know your expenses. Mr. Larry Logan says, we are on a fixed income. Our goal is to focus and staying on track. We have a spreadsheet to track, but we are kind of routine until something throws us off track. We're working together to reach our goal. That's what I'm talking about. Teamwork. You want to have teamwork when you're trying to reach your goals, especially, when you're by yourself, it's you handling checking account, savings account, what's coming in, what's going out. But when there's more than one person and you're trying to reach financial goals, you have to have teamwork. So it's important that you use teamwork, and what you see Mr. Larry Logan say here when he says, we are working together to reach our goals. It shouldn't be one person trying to reach the goals. People that are in relationships, people that are together, people that live in the same household, people that are married, people that are business partners. You have to work together to reach those goals. And it's easier to reach the goals. You have an accountability partner. There's so many good things that come and grow from working together. So that's number 2, tracking our expenses. I've had plenty of clients that I work with that found expenses or things that they were paying that they had completely forgotten about, and they got them off their budget. They stopped the subscriptions, they stopped the payments to stuff that they had already paid off, and put hundreds of dollars back into their income, back into their budget, which increased their cash flow. So that is number 2. As we talk about Budgeting Basics 101 here at Coach Steele's Finance Training. If you're just tuning in, make sure you say hello. Make sure you're in the comment section as we talk about different things. When you must understand, before I go to number 3, some of your expenses are fixed expenses like rent, utilities. Sometimes people have fixed utilities, some people don't. Insurance. You have variable expenses like groceries, entertainment, dining out. And like I said, use a budgeting app to find out those averages. Number 3 is important. When we talk about number 3, it's talking about really not getting complacent and setting your financial goals. And I would say when we talk about number 3, which is setting your financial goals, I want you to start setting your financial goals, not just off of, oh, this would be nice, or, oh, I think I want to do this. I want you to set your financial goals based off of your cash flow and based off your budget. So that's number 3. Number 3 is set financial goals. What financial goals have you set for 2025? And when you set these financial goals, guess what? I want you to set your short-term financial goals, and I want you to set your long-term financial goals. Short-term financial goals, what do you want to get accomplished in 2025? Long-term financial goals, what do you want to get accomplished maybe 3 to 5 years from now? So short-term, let's look at from now to December. From now to December, what are some of the things you want to get accomplished? And as you're tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training on today, whether you are on Facebook or whether you are on YouTube, what are some of your financial goals that you have? Whether they are short-term or long-term, I want to hear what those goals are. Talk to me in this comment section. What are some of your goals you want to accomplish? Do you want to have an emergency fund? Do you want to pay off your house? Do you want to have more cash flow every month? You want to do a better job of investing and paying your future self, setting up your retirement account? You want to create a business that is cash flowing, that helps pay for liabilities. What are your financial goals? Do you want to dive into real estate? What are some of your financial goals? Do you want to be able to increase the amount of money that you put into your 401k plan? That's what we're talking about here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, is increasing our level of financial literacy so that we can accomplish our financial goals. And you have to set them in place. And you set them in place based off your budget, based off of what you have coming in, what you have going out, and the plan that you put in place to increase your cash flow, to increase your income, the debt or the expenses that you plan on eliminating to make your financial goals real. Some of your financial goals may be to get out of debt. And there's different ways to do that. And we'll get to that in a few other areas as we continue to go down this list. So we want to make sure that our financial goals are realistic. Set realistic financial goals. All right. Mr. Tony Sherman says, buy another investment property. That's what I'm talking about. Those are some of my financial goals. If I don't do it this year, I definitely want to buy another investment property. I recently, about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks now, I think, I bought an investment property. I think it's been 2 weeks now. And I do want to buy probably one more by the end of this year. But if I don't, I'm fine with waiting till the top of 2026 as well. Because I want to increase my cash flow. I want to increase my net worth. I want to increase the generational wealth that I can pass down. But most importantly, getting that passive income and having access to an asset that has equity in it that I can leverage successfully and strategically at a later date is a beautiful thing, because it is money growing in my favor that I don't necessarily have to clock in for. So definitely that is a great goal for you, Mr. Tony Sherman, which is buying another investment property strategically that brings in more money into your pocket monthly that you can enjoy and spend. And so he's taking an asset to help him pay for other liabilities. All right. So we want to make sure we have those financial goals in place, whether they are short term. Some of your short term goals may be just saving money for a trip or paying off small debts. And let me tell you something. Sometimes when your financial goal is to save for a trip, some vacations and trips really don't have to cost you much money at all. It's about, do you have discipline and are you strategic in that process? I'm getting ready to go on a vacation soon, and honestly, the resort I'm staying in isn't going to cost me anything. It's free. Matter of fact, they're paying me. So the cool thing about it is I'll pay for the gas money to get there, and that's probably about it because I won't have to pay to live for the resort we're staying at. You know, they have those deals where you can stay 3 days, 4 nights, or whatever it is, or sometimes longer, depending on what you negotiate. And then they say, as long as you go to this class. And of course, when you go to the class, they are going to try to get you to buy a timeshare. And of course, it's easy to just sit there and say no. And so your vacation, the resort that you stay on, is free. And so that's one of the things I'm going to do, and I always do, because I go into this trip knowing that they're going to talk to me for about an hour and a half, and Simon is going to say no. They'll give up quick. They'll give up early because my facial expression and my demeanor, and I'm not asking intriguing questions or questions to continue their conversation into the direction of selling me. So anyway, if you cannot afford vacations, there are ways to make your vacation affordable and potentially free. So keep that in mind when it comes to setting financial goals. And if you can make your vacation free, then guess what? Now you can use that money you save for vacation for some other financial goal. It trickles down to the other financial goals. Long-term goals, some people want to buy a house. And if you want to buy a house, some people think they have to save up money for a down payment. But there are down payment assistance programs out there. And one of the things I'm going to do here at Coach Steele's Finance Training is one day I'm going to have, not one day, multiple Saturdays, I'm going to have real estate agents come on and just talk about the home buying process so that we can get educated better on the opportunities that are out there and what we should do when it comes to buying a home. And so I think that'll be very good for our team here at Coach Steele's Finance Training to get more information about the home buying process. Even for my real estate investors that listen in, we can talk to these real estate agents, and usually they have the inside scoop on properties that are getting ready to go on the market. They have the inside scoop of properties that the seller may not even want to put on the market. And how do we find these deals out here that aren't on the market so that we can get them at a wholesale price? So maybe later on we can make long-term passive income off of them, or we can make retail, put them at a retail price and then sell them to make a profit. So anyway, as we tune in to Coach Steele's Finance Training on today, thank everybody as you're tuning in. Make sure you jump in the comment section and greet me. If not, I'll come find you. All right, number 4. Here's an important one. When we look at number 4, and I want your feedback on this because everybody has a different philosophy. Everyone has a different strategy when it comes to number 4. Number 4 is choose a budgeting method. I'm curious because most people don't have a budgeting method or strategy. What is your budgeting method? In the comment section, as you're tuning in on today, I need to know your budgeting method. How do you strategize your budget? And when I say budgeting method, for some people, it may be the 50-30-20 rule. For some people, it may be a zero-based budgeting method. And for some people, they may use the envelope system. So I'm curious, what is your budgeting method, your system, your strategy? And so as we talk about choosing your budgeting method, which is just one of the basic things when it comes to budgeting 101 that we need to talk about, because I just named about 3 different methods. Some of them I like, and then there's like 1 or 2 of them. It's one of them that I've done before, but I really don't like it at all now. but I understand its purpose and its place. So I named three budgeting methods. Those aren't the only three, but what is your budgeting method? Now, I'll explain the three very quickly. When I said the 50/30/20 rule, when I say choose a budgeting method, as a matter of fact, what I'll do to simplify, we'll put this in the comment section for you. So while I talk, you can read it yourself as well. I'm multitasking on today. We're going to get this done. So as you're tuning in, when we talk about number 4, choosing your budgeting method, some of you may choose the 50/30/20 rule. Some people like it, some people don't. I find the 50/30/20 rule fascinating. I make my own tweaks to it and I use it as a blueprint. But you want to look at your budget, and when you see your expenses and you have got the full average of your expenses, then you can execute the 50/30/20 rule to see where you fall in at. So when it comes to 100% of your expenses, it says 50% needs to go to needs like housing, groceries, utilities, like all those things that you need, that you have to have, like shelter, food, utilities, and transportation. Those 4 basic things fall under needs, 50%. What's crazy is some people, just their mortgage or their rent alone is like 50% of their income. And so the good thing about what we're doing today is we are really talking about financial literacy. Of course, I've been talking about it for years, guys. And the reason why I've been talking about it for years, because I want people to be proactive when it comes to their financial situation. Well, why am I passionate about people being proactive? Because look at the economy right now. Look what's going on. If you are not proactive in this season, you will get caught behind the power curve. You have to be prepared for what is coming at you. You have to be prepared of what's going on in this financial system so that you can have financial success no matter what's going on and no matter who's in office. We cannot make excuses, because excuses don't get us to the win. Excuses don't get us the W. Excuses don't give us padding and security for when things go upside down. But being proactive and taking action is what helps us win. So no matter what season you find yourself in financially, you can have success. That's what I'm talking about. So you really need to know what is your system that you use when it comes to your finances. Are you going to use the 50/30/20 rule? 50% needs, 30% wants. That's just the stuff that you don't have to have, that you spend money on every month. You need to know how much do you spend on wants every month. And once you find that out and you gain a level of financial discipline, if there are other things that need to take place, if there are other things that you need to take care of, get knocked out, pay off, debt, you name it, you know that you can take the money that was going to the wants because you've done the due diligence, you've done the math, you saw what was going there, and now you have the discipline and the wherewithal to say, I don't need that this month. I can knock out this credit card. I don't need this for the next 3 months. I can pay off this other bill or this medical bill that's messing up my credit score. Whatever it is to improve, and that may be another short-term goal someone has, to improve their credit score. And there's a number of ways of doing that. But you can have the discipline if you know your budget, if you know your expenses. And then, of course, the 50/30/20 rule, 20% of your income should go to savings/debt repayment. If you don't have debt repayment, then you can take 20% of your income and put it into savings. Now, everyone isn't going to be able to do 20% overnight, but that is something that you can slowly work on, slowly work up to. I remember where I couldn't put anything in savings. I had zero left over at the end of every month, but eventually I was able to put like 1% to savings, eventually 10%, 15%, and now I'm able to do 20 or more. And so as you're tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training today, and we are talking about financial literacy, and we're talking about Budgeting Basics 101. I want to say good morning to Samantha Smith and good morning to Lottie as well. Brent, happy to have you tuning in on today, and congratulations to you, Lottie, on all the personal growth that you're having in your life and those personal disciplines that you're practicing to improve your health, and also it's going to improve your finances as well. So happy to have everybody tuning in on today. And we are talking about choosing your budgeting method. That's number 4. And so when we choose our budgeting method, whether it's the 50-30-20 rule or it's the zero-based budgeting, and to simplify zero-based budgeting for some people who do that, it's really being very exact, being very meticulous about where every dollar is going. So zero-based budgeting is, let me write it in here, assigning every dollar a job, putting that money to work. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Making that dollar have a job, an occupation, a 9-to-5 on your behalf, because money is calling us and we have to be proactive and we have to take action to make sure we know where every dollar is going. So this is just another method, zero-based budgeting, where you know at the end of every month, based on that app, based on that paper Excel sheet, where every dollar went. That's making every dollar fall in line. I used to be in the military. And so when the commander or whoever would say fall in, we would have to get right into position of attention. And we were in line. All platoons, everybody, if you're squad, everybody's in line and accounted for. And that's how you have to be with your dollars, with your money. You got to tell that dollar to fall in because you're in charge of the money. The money is not in charge of you. You should know how to make the money, but not let the money make you. Does that make sense on today? Zero-based budgeting, assigning every dollar a job. Yes, dollar, you got to go to my 401k account. Yes, dollar, you have to go to my investment account. Yes, dollar, this is going to my income snowball. That's a whole nother subject right there. But we have to assign every dollar. You know what? You got to go pay off my mortgage. You got to go pay off these credit card debt. Whatever it is, assign that dollar. This dollar is going to my vacation trip next month. Whatever it is, you got to assign that dollar. In the comment section, put assign every dollar a job. That's it. Good morning, Miss Shirley Frazier. Happy to have you tuning in on today. Welcome back. Happy to have you here with Coach Steele's Finance Training. If you're tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, make sure you also subscribe on the YouTube channel, Coach Steele's Finance Training, where I put other videos and content up during the week. Mr. Tony Sherman said dollars fall in, all accounted for. That's what I'm talking about. You got to make those dollars fall in and make them behave, make them follow directions. And so they got to march to the beat of your drum, your plan, and those financial goals that you have set in place. I'm excited on today to talk about financial literacy and to talk with you all today about setting up your budget and having that stuff in place. Budgeting 101. I want to make sure I don't skip anything. So we have that, choosing the right method. Oh, that other method. Okay. When I was younger, I used this method a while back. Let's see. I'm going to put this one in here. And I'm going to tell you the pros and cons of it. This last method here. That's it. Yvette, assign every dollar a job. Let's go here. Here's the other one that I used to like, and we did for years. We did for some time. I can't say for some years. And that is the envelope system. All right, check this out. It says use cash envelopes for different spending categories. So years ago, my wife and I, we'd take the envelope, right? And let's say we wanted to stay in budget for our groceries. And let's say we were spending like $800 a month on groceries. So we'd take $800 out the checking account or wherever. We would put it in the envelope. And whenever we went to the grocery store, we would take the envelope and make sure we used the $800 that was in the envelope to buy the groceries. No matter when we went, the envelope went with us. So that way it made you sensitive to seeing the dollars leave. Instead of just swiping a card, we became sensitive to seeing the dollars leave out of the envelope. And what happens is you get to the point where you don't like physically seeing and handing over your money to someone to pay. And the $800 starts dwindling down, right? It slowly starts disappearing. And so we became it. Here's the pros. It made you more sensitive to how much you're spending. And it became a competition of, can we successfully have some money left over in the envelope at the end of the month? It became a good competition of, can I do this and not spend all of this $800? Can we have $25 left over? Maybe we can have $50 left over. And at that time, we still had debt. So if we still had money left over in the envelope, then we could take that money and pay more towards the credit card, more to the debt, more to a medical bill or expense. And so we were making progress faster. And so the envelope system gave us more discipline. It made us more sensitive to just letting money go to whoever. And it made us want to keep more in our pocket so that we can accomplish other financial goals with what was left over. Now, you can also take what's left over in the envelope and celebrate and treat yourself because you did an amazing job as well. As I matured financially and I began to learn about high yield interest savings accounts, then I really don't like keeping a bunch of extra money in an envelope at home that is going to decrease in value due to inflation when I can put it in a high yield interest savings account where it will increase in value and make monthly interest so it can grow. So really at the end of the month, what I was going to put in an envelope could actually make some extra dollars in a high yield interest savings account. And if you're interested in getting a high yield interest savings account, it's pretty simple, not too complicated at all. And all you need to do is on my YouTube channel, you can actually go to, and I'll give an example. Let's see if I can share my screen as I talk about it. All right. If you need a quality high yield interest savings account and you want to make sure you're going to the right place, let's see here. You can go to my YouTube channel, of course, Coach Steele's Finance Training, and click on the live link. And once you click on the live link, for example, when you see like the power of passive income, this video here, if you were to click on it and then go to the description box, right here in the description box, right here at the top, high yield interest savings account. You could click that. And if you click on that high yield interest savings account, yes, you do have potential to make some money depending on how much you invest. And you can earn up to 3.8% interest right now. So there's a lot of benefits here. I believe one of the ways to get that extra money is if you put at least $50 in that high yield interest savings account within the first 14 days, they give you an extra $25. And then also later on, you can choose if you want to set up your direct deposits. And I believe they give you another $300 on that. But once again, do your due diligence. And not only can you make more interest on your money, but also you can get some bonus money too that you didn't even expect or plan for. What could you do with an extra $25 or $300? You can do a lot with it. So anyway, just know you can go to that YouTube channel and be able to set all of that stuff up. And while I'm actually doing that, let's see. I went to another screen and I didn't realize that y'all can see. So what you'll see is once you click on the link, you'll see that. And that's where I'm talking about the extra money that you can save. And here we go. Now everybody should be able to see it clearly. So when I said the extra 3.8% annual percentage yield, and then also the extra bonus, whether it's $25 or whether it's the full $325, you can do your due diligence and read up on that. And that may be something you're interested in as well with making your money work. Assign those dollars, make them bust a sweat. For how long, how many years have you bust a sweat? And so now it's time to make your money work for you as well. All right. Once again, Coach Steele's Finance Training. If you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, you'll see a lot of links in there. There's links for free mini courses, financial literacy courses, things that can help you just fine tune what you know or what you thought you knew, and help you continue to grow and educate yourself when it comes to financial literacy. All right, let's move right along. We talked about number 4, choosing a budgeting method. We talked about different budgeting methods. Number 5, when it comes to going over the subject of budgeting, a lot of people don't like to talk about it. And it's rough when you're trying to figure out what you have coming in, and then when you find all these expenses of what you have going out. But one of the things that I notice a lot of people like, after they finally commit and they lock in and say, you know what, Simon, I'm going to get with you. I'm going to, because I do financial coaching. I work with people one-on-one. They say, I'm going to set up my budget. Once we get that budget set up and we find out what we have coming in and going out, and as y'all are tuning in on today, make sure you share this. Make sure you share the live to other people that may be interested in growing their financial education. Make sure you share this live on your platform as well. Let's get the word out so that we can grow financially. It is important more than ever in today's economy, with everything going on, that we as a community, we as a team, improve our financial situation. We don't want any excuses. We just want to be proactive to take care of stuff. We don't want to rely on anyone to bail us out, to help us. We want to be able to fix these situations ourselves. Number 5 today, when we talk about budgeting 101, is reduce unnecessary expenses. Now, like I was saying earlier, once I finally get someone to commit and start working on their budget and finding out these numbers and some of these other steps we talked about earlier, when they get to number 5, you start getting happy. When you get to number 5, you get excited because you start finding out stuff that you had in your budget that you no longer need, that you no longer want, and you start cutting that stuff off. You start cutting the fat. That's what I call this section, is cutting the fat in that budget. You reduce unnecessary expenses. And what is the beauty? If you're tuning in on today and we talk about different terms and words when it comes to financial literacy, if you're tuning in on today, in the comment section, I want you to write one benefit. What is something that increases when you reduce unnecessary expenses? Let's see who can answer this question. There's something that increases financially when you reduce unnecessary expenses. What is that term called? We've gone over this multiple times before. If you have been listening to Coach Steele's Finance Training and you are a student, I need the answer. When we reduce unnecessary expenses, what increases at the end of every month? Somebody better know this answer. We talk about this all the time. The answer isn't wrong. Okay. Anitra, teacher, baker, party maker has the correct financial term vocabulary that I was looking for. Cash flow. Now, Mr. Tony Sherman isn't wrong. Surplus does increase. That is the right answer. But I wanted this word. I want to stay right here looking at and dealing with this word. It increases your cash flow. I call it CF. I like when my cash flow is increased, because when the cash flow is increased, because we reduce our unnecessary expenses, that's more money I can put to work. That's more money that I can assign. That's more money that I can invest. That is more money where I can eliminate debt faster, which we're going to get to that as well. I love when my cash flow is increased. You should get excited when you examine your budget and you find extra money at the end of the month. That's Christmas before Christmas. That's like candy. You should get excited when you find extra money in your budget because you were disciplined and you locked in and you got extra cash flow because you were willing and diligent to find out where you could reduce unnecessary expenses. And I always tell everybody this: when you reduce or you eliminate unnecessary expenses, it's temporary. I always have to remind people this. Who cares if you have to cut Netflix off for 6 months so that you can go ahead and pay off a credit card? Netflix is not going anywhere. Hulu is not going anywhere. You can get it back later or potentially borrow someone's password. Anyway, Anitra said, just found an extra $97 this morning. Right where you are, if you're tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, just give a hand clap. I know we can't hear your hand clap. You might be able to put some hand clap emojis in the comment section, or you might be able to put 2 hand up, praise the Lord emoji in there. But let's just give Anitra a round of applause in the comment section for finding an extra $97 this morning. Now, if she found an extra $97 a month, that's amazing, because at the end of the year, that's over an extra $1,000 for the year. That's like, some of you don't realize that when you reduce or eliminate expenses, you are empowering yourself to give yourself a raise. Think about it. Sometimes we look at our jobs and we say, oh, I wish they would pay me more. I wish they would give me a little bump, an extra 25 cents a month, an extra $1 a month. Well, if you go through your budget, you can be proactive. Once again, we don't want excuses. I'll give myself a raise. I'll go through my budget and find a way to pay myself more, increase my cash flow so that I can do more with my money. This is so good. And so there are creative ways to give yourself a raise, an increase. Now check this out. Let's go deeper. In the comment section, let's write, let's go deeper. So we want our jobs to give us a raise. We want our jobs to give us an increase in pay. We want our jobs to give us some extra money. And there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes they don't do that. And if they don't do that, what is your plan to get more money in your pocket? Let's go deeper. Now, let's do some math here, some financial term math. So when we look at this, if we reduce unnecessary expenses or eliminate unnecessary expenses, we know that we increase the surplus, we increase the cash flow, we celebrate like Anitra, right? So then, when you give yourself this raise, almost $1,200 raise, or whatever your number is, you take that money, and Anitra said, let's go deeper. Mr. Tony Sherman said, let's go deeper. How do I give myself a raise? I take the $1,200. Some of you, it may be $5,000. Some of you, it may be $200. Whatever it is. If I take that extra money, here's some options now. Let me simplify it. And I put it in a high yield interest savings account. That high yield interest savings account is going to pay me some extra money monthly. So now, therefore, I just gave myself a little extra increase in cash flow. Again, cash flow from eliminating the debt or reducing it, taking that money, that cash, that asset, and putting it in another asset vehicle, which is a high yield interest savings account, and then letting that pay me some extra every month. Now I've increased my cash flow 2 times. But some of us may take that extra money and invest it in our business. If we make t-shirts, if we make candles. Now, of course, Anitra makes candles and they smell good. And of course, on here, you're going to see a peach, and it is a candle that you can light, and it smells just like what it looks like. So what you have to understand is I take my money and I reinvest it in a business or opportunity, and it doesn't have to just be a high yield interest savings account. There are so many other platforms where you can invest money on and make more money in return monthly. So definitely keep that in mind, that I'm just using the high yield interest savings account as an example, but you take the money and you continue to flip it and make it work in other asset classes to pay you more monthly. Now it gets to the point to where even if the job didn't pay you or give you a raise or increase, you have done it yourself. You have given yourself the deserved raise, or increase in monthly money and cash flow that you deserve. Okay, let me calm down because I'm missing some of these comments in here. All right. Based on zero-based budgeting, I have 97 employees. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. She playing off the $97 that she got. Yes, put them employees to work. I like that. I really want to work with that, but I ain't got time. But I like that. 97 employees. Mr. Tony Sherman says start a 6-month CD. All right, let's go to the next one. Let me make sure I don't forget anything. With cut unnecessary expenses, cut subscriptions that you don't use. Here's another one. You could cook at home. You could just cook at home. That's another way that I save money. I like, I will admit this. I'm going to openly confess in front of everyone. Throughout the week, it is possible for Zaxby's to get a lot of money from me because I like going there because they have that big salad that's already ready made. But if I just go to the store and I buy my own salad mix and some of those other things, I save way more money by just making my own salad. And I can go back to that big salad mix multiple times over and over and over. Sometimes I'll just grill a bunch of salmon for the week. And it's easy to make sides. You can make some broccoli or some rice or whatever the case may be. Bake some potatoes and save tons of money on having to go out to eat every time, every day, every other day. And so you can cook from home instead of eating out. You can learn to shop smarter as well, compare prices, potentially use coupons. So there are a number of ways to reduce your monthly expenses. You can make big meals. One thing I learned from my mom, and I didn't know or realize till later because she was raising 7 children in one house, but she would always make these big pots of spaghetti. Now, I love spaghetti, and we would sprinkle the Parmesan cheese on that thing. Yeah. Anyway, missed that spaghetti. One thing we would do is we could eat off that spaghetti for a couple of days. What she was doing was making meals that would last more than one day. And so that's another cool thing you can do. If you have an addiction to Subway or Jersey Mike's or whatever the case may be, start getting the items and make your own subs at home. So you can learn how to start doing some of this stuff on your own. It becomes fun. And some of you are going to find out that you can make it better than the place that you were buying it from. And it's more gratifying, it's more satisfying, and you just save more money. So keep all of that in mind as we talk about reduce unnecessary expenses. All right, I think that covers all of that. And thank you for the compliment, Anitra. Yes, I do make some fantastic salmon, whether it's on the grill or whether I cook it or bake it in the oven. All right, next, let's get to our next thing as we talk about budgeting basics here at Coach Steele's Finance Training. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure you are sharing this live as we go over this. All right, let's see. Here's another important subject. Number 6. Let's hit number 6 real quick. And I'm going to explain to you all, I have some disclaimers when it comes to this as well. My personal preference when it comes to this. And it's not that you have to have the same thought process. Everybody handles finances different. Number 6, build an emergency fund. Aim for 3 to 6 months. I think 3 to 6 months is very safe for anyone. And so there's nothing wrong with doing 3 to 6 months budget. I think 6 months can be excessive unless you're like a contractor. If you do contract work, well, honestly, you might, even if you have a government job right now. If you have a government job, 6 months might be good. But usually contractors, I would recommend they have 6 months of living expenses, emergency fund set to the side. And but if you have like a pension or retirement income that comes in money and you have good cash flow, I wouldn't say just sit 6 months worth of money just sitting around in a savings account. I would put that money to work. I would put it in another investment vehicle. If I have money that comes in every month, whether I'm working or not, then I don't feel like I need as much of an emergency fund because I already have money coming in. Most people do 3 to 6 months of emergency fund Because if they lose their job and they don't have any money coming in, that 3 to 6 months gives them 3 to 6 months to maintain and sustain themselves until they recover from an injury, till they find another job, till they can relocate, get stuff taken care of, make whatever financial adjustments they need to. But if you already have money coming in and you have solid cash flow, then you don't have to always put 6 months to the side. If I have strong cash flow and I already have money coming in from a pension, paycheck, retirement, or whatever, I might only do 2 months of an emergency fund in a high yield interest savings account. And in that high yield, let it gain compound interest, and it'll just make its own third month itself. I don't have to spend my money to make a third month. It's already building up for the 3 months itself. So I put my money to work. And then that extra money, that other 4, 5, 6 months, I'm going to take that money and put it in a real estate investment and allow my money to grow even faster to create more passive income that comes in every month. So that's why I don't need an emergency fund, because if I have multiple properties or multiple assets that are bringing in money every month, whether I clock in or not, then I just put the assets to work. But anyway, if you want to be safe, there's nothing wrong with doing 3 to 6 months of living expenses. So, and there's a process to that. Take your time to build it up. It doesn't happen overnight. Now, don't rush to stack up a mound of savings if you have a mound of debt too. So there's a perfect balance that you need to have there. Of course, you can get with me one-on-one and we can review that as well. All right, that's number 6. Let's go to number 7. Number 7 is pay debt off strategically. Now, when we talk about paying debt off strategically, there's a number of ways to pay debt off strategically. You know, whether you're using the avalanche method, the snowball method, or whether you're using the cash flow index, or whether you're using accelerated strategies to pay off your mortgage and other debt as well. So there's a number of ways to pay off debt. So definitely keep that in mind as we deal with number 7. Let's see, Anitra says diversifying when creating an emergency fund. That's genius. That's exactly it. I'm diversifying in assets that are going to pay me monthly so that the emergency fund is less likely to be needed because I have money coming in. And essentially, I'm using properties as my emergency fund, but monthly income. So anyway, number 7, pay off debt strategically. Once again, you can use the cash flow index method. There's videos on my YouTube channel about that. If you use the snowball method, avalanche method, use a method to pay off your debt. Now, if you have a mortgage and you have other consumer debt, one of the fastest ways and safest ways to pay off debt is using accelerated strategies to do that. And of course, that's using the HELOC method. And the beautiful part about it is if you use the HELOC as paying off your mortgage, you still have access to funds. And that's what makes it so great and so safe, is if an emergency or something pops up, you still have access to all that liquidity and equity in case something pops up in the process. If you just give an extra payment to your mortgage company, then of course you don't have access to those funds again, unless you do some type of cash out refi and they reset your 30 years. So using the HELOC strategy is very, very effective. If you don't know how to use it, feel free to reach out to me, contact me. You see my email address down there at the bottom, coachsteelfinance@gmail.com. So make sure you reach out to me, shoot me an email if you have any more questions or need guidance about how to pay your mortgage off at an accelerated rate. Actually did it myself, paid my mortgage off in 3 years and 7 months. Didn't take long at all. Does not take 30 years to pay off your mortgage, contrary to popular belief. A lot of people have other logics when it comes to that, but I'm telling you, I paid my mortgage, a 30-year mortgage off in 3 years and 7 months using the HELOC strategy. Some people say, oh, well, you could have taken that money, invested in the stock market and made it grow even more. I still have access to all those funds. I have access to the equity. So if I want to leverage it and make more money than what I could have made in the stock market, I can leverage it and buy real estate or whatever. I don't want to do that, but there are other creative ways besides just the basic ways that people know on how to leverage their money and what to do with it. And most importantly, I didn't want to owe anything, because if, a lot of people say, well, you can take that money and invest it for the next 10, 15, 20 years. That's if you were going to consistently have a job for the next 15, 20 years. You can't guarantee that. What I knew for a fact was in 3 years and 7 months, this debt is going to be gone. So no matter who's in office or what goes on, that's one less thing I have to worry about. I have a roof over my head. I don't have to move out. I won't have to pay rent anywhere. So I would rather take the chance of being debt free in a short amount of time than to just assume that I'm going to be able to have a 9 to 5 for the next 20, 30 years to stack money to the side. And of course, a lot of people are finding out in this economy that some of that stuff is not as realistic as we thought. But anyway, let's continue to go. Number 8, and we're almost towards the end here, is save and invest. And so, of course, thank you for everyone who's tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training on today. Happy to have you tuning in. If you are listening, make sure you greet us in the comment section. We're happy to have you a part of the team. Number 7 is pay off debt. Number 8 is save and invest. And so everyone is going to have to start saving and investing at the level at which you're at. You have to go at your pace. It would be great to be able to put 15% of your income or 20% of your income off to the side and invest so that you can pay your future self. Because think about this. Who is going to take paying your future self more seriously? Out of everybody in the world, who's going to be concerned about when you turn 60, 70, 80 to be able to help manage and maintain your bills? Who's going to take that priority? The only person who's going to really take it serious more than anybody is you. And that's why number 8, you have to save and invest. You have to put money to the side for yourself. For you all who are listening and constantly listen, I've talked about high yield interest savings account. You can put that money in your 401k plan and in your government, and your job is potentially matching certain amount or certain percentage. That's free money for your future self as well. If you don't have a regular job that has a retirement plan, then open up a Roth IRA and start that process of paying your future self. Of course, I like other platforms, whether it's BQuest, Groundfloor, or real estate investing. There are so many other ways to be able to pay your future self besides just the conventional route of having to pay yourself into your 401k for 30 years and then finally being able to draw the money. I like real estate because I can start enjoying the passive income today and tomorrow and in the future. So I can continue to enjoy it and I don't have to wait as long to spend the money. And there's tax benefits as well. So that is number 8. And let's get through number 9. Number 9 is simple. You're just going to review and adjust monthly. Number 9 is just reviewing and adjust monthly. And what I would tell you with that is check where you're overspending. Make sure you keep everything in track and adjust. Increase saving as income grows. And that's one of the easiest things you can do. As your income grows, it's almost like you're pretending that you didn't see it come. And so all you do is increase the amount that you are putting to the side for saving. As you see more income come in, now you can put more in your 401k. Still keep your budget as is. And number 10, be consistent and stay motivated. Whatever it takes, stay motivated. You got to be around other motivated people. You have to be around like-minded people. You have to understand things will come up. Some people call it Murphy's Law, but sometimes things come up. Bad things happen, but more good is going to happen than bad. And that's why you have to stay the course and be consistent and stay motivated and learn how to motivate yourself, whether it's rewarding yourself when you hit your savings goals. Remember, small changes add up over a period of time. So don't look at it and get discouraged because, it's taking too long. What you put in now is going to propel you later. The ground floor that you set up for yourself is what's going to be able to catapult you to reaching your future goals. And it's all worth it. You have to remember that it's all worth it. And those are all 10 on today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll shoot a number 11 in there for you. And it's just, accountability partners to keep you on track and to celebrate. Make sure you put some positive people around yourself that'll keep you accountable, but also help you celebrate those small wins. Everyone doesn't always want to see you have success. So make sure you find the right people around you that you can call on the phone or connect with or go out to eat with and help push you and keep that battery in your back to help you accomplish your goals. I appreciate everyone for tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training on today. We had an awesome time. We got a lot done on today, talking about Budgeting Basics 101. You don't have to put all of these in a specific order. And so just know that go through this, review this information when it comes to Budgeting Basics 101, and pull out what you need that will help you, that will help enhance what you're already doing. All of this may not apply for you, but some of it will. And so it'll help enhance what you're trying to do. I appreciate the support from each and every person. Just know I do feel the love, and we're going to continue to grow this thing out. You're welcome, Mr. Tony Sherman. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you all tuning in. After listening to this, any thoughts, comments, concerns, subjects that you want to discuss, feel free to leave it in the comment section. There's even a spot on Facebook where it says you can send stars to pin your comments. And so you can send some stars, and I think that puts a little money in my pocket. If you do send some stars, just know whatever you send, it is going to go to Cameroon, to people that are less fortunate, people that don't have, whether it's food, clothes, tuition to go to school for some of the younger kids. And then also we are in the middle of a project as well. And I'll talk about that another day. I'm going to do a YouTube live on about giving, how important giving is. And when I talk about that, I'll let you know about the other project that we have going on in Cameroon that we are currently working on. I have some videos and stuff like that that I can show as well. But once again, make sure you share this link on your platform. And as you share it, it will help someone else out with their financial situation. Just remember, money is calling. And this is the perfect season for us to be proactive with getting our finances right, getting our houses in order. We are not going to blame the government, the system, or anyone, because pointing the finger does not help put us in a better situation. Pointing the finger does not solve the problem. We have to take the initiative, guys. We have to take the initiative. If you're listening on today, put in the comment section, be proactive, take the initiative. No one is coming to save you. We got to save ourselves. And we do that by taking action, being proactive, handling our business, getting our finances right. And what you'll find out is, as a team, the more you have your finances right, the louder you can speak, the stronger your voice is heard. Because the government is going to do what the government does. Social Security is going to do what Social Security is going to do. And we can't always be looking to see who can come help us. When there are systems in place where we can help ourselves. And I'm excited about this season, because in a season where there's a drought, in a season where resources are drying up, in a season where there's less people to lean on, it gives you the opportunity to lean on what you have on within. Where's your faith? Where's your confidence? And depending on what you have on the inside, what you have been planting and sowing in yourself, and here at Coach Steele's Finance Training, we have been sowing seeds of information and financial education. And when you do your research and due diligence, good morning to you, Pastor Conyers. Thank you for tuning in as well and your support. The more we do that, ladies and gentlemen, we can get ourselves out of our negative situations that we found ourselves in. And those who don't have negative situations, don't get complacent. Things might be going well, but find out what can you do better? What can you improve? And who can you help out around you improve as well? Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate everyone's support and love. And you all have a blessed Saturday. And if you don't have a church home, or you're looking for somewhere to tune in for ministry, make sure you tune in to Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church in Hinesville, Georgia, 1370 Shaw Road. And if you can't make it in the building, then just go to YouTube or Facebook and tune in on the platform, on the YouTube or Facebook platform. If you go to YouTube, make sure you subscribe not only to Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church, Hinesville, Georgia, but make sure you also subscribe to Coach Steele's Finance Training as well. And Anitra put, money is calling. We have to be proactive and put systems in place. 7 skinny cows, 7 fat cows. Somebody better talk about Joseph on this morning. Anyway, I'm not going to let you take me there because I'll be on here for a whole nother hour. But I appreciate y'all tuning in, and y'all have a blessed Saturday. And remember to leave your thoughts and your comments.